Whether you're creating a new campaign or trying to extend the reach of one you already have, Google Ads Keyword Planner can help you find a lot of new keyword variants to target on the Google Ads network. Now, this tool has been around for a while, so odds are you've used it in some way, shape, or form in the past. But over the past few years, there have been a lot of additions to it, and the functionality has gotten a lot better. There's lots you can do. There are tons of new bells and whistles. So today, what I want to walk through are each of those things, start to finish, of everything you can do in the Google Ads Keyword Planner. Let's hop in. Once we hop into Google Keyword Planner, this is what the homepage section is going to look like. And if you don't know where Keyword Planner is, it's over here up in Tools and Settings, all the way over to the left, Keyword Planner under the Planning section. Pretty easy. The first thing you want to do is choose the right account that you're doing keyword research for. This is important for a couple pieces. Due to the functionality in the Keyword Planner, you can actually add keywords directly from the Keyword Planner, which will show what that looks like. And second, while you're doing research, Google Keyword Planner will tell you whether you already have a keyword in your account and what the ad impression share is if you already have that active. So it's helpful to know what keywords you already have in place, and it can only do that if you've chosen the right account to start off with. The next piece is talking about the functionality we want to use the Keyword Planner for. So we can either use it to discover new keywords, which is the most traditional use of the tool, or we can get search volume and forecasts for the keywords that we're putting together. So we'll look at each of those individually in just a minute. And then the last thing we can do is put together plans. We'll show what plans look like. Basically, Google Keyword Planner will save your research, if you will, as you can start to build different campaigns, ad groups, keywords, that sort of thing right within the tool. You can save them in here rather than rolling them out specifically or needing to save them to your desktop. And those will be easily found right here once you've got some things in place. Obviously, we don't have anything here, so there's nothing to show. So let's get started with just discovering new keywords. This is going to be the most basic functionality that people want to use anyway. So let's hop into that. Now, opening this editor at the top, you can see there are two key ways that you can do this. You can either start with keywords or you can start with a website. So the more traditional usage is going to be start with keywords. This is where you would add in any sort of common sense phrases that come to mind. For this entire demo of this video, I'm going to be thinking about Star Wars sets of Legos. So anything in Lego that is Star Wars themed, that's what I'm going to use to do an example, just so it kind of keeps the theme all the same. For that, you'd find some really easy keywords like Lego Star Wars Lego sets, all of that sort of thing, and you would add those in here. Then there are some other functionality pieces you can use. So you can change the language just by clicking this English section, and it'll open up this menu that'll allow you to choose from all of the different languages that are available in the Google Keyword Planner. Pretty easy there. And if you want to change the geography, you can do that just by clicking on whatever the default location is. For me, it's the United States. And you can use the location editor just in the same way you would for any other tool in Google. But for now, we'll just hit cancel. The last thing you can do is a bit of a cross between the keyword section and the website section. This is where you can enter a domain to use as a filter. So if you have a specific website or web page that you want to use as a filter, you can easily add that here. And what Google will do is try and take the keywords that you've provided it, as well as the website that you've given, to help filter and try and make the keyword sections a little bit more relevant based on what you've put in both of those different areas. So if you do have a website you want to use, you can easily add that in here. But before we do that, I want to look at what it looks like to just start with a website as opposed to keywords. So here, all you have to do is provide a website. It's either the website or a page within that site that you want to use for Google to go find keywords for you. I'm just going to use the Star Wars Lego page and have Google use that to queue off of for my research. Just like starting with keywords, you can change the language and you can change the geography. But then the key section that we want to focus on here is this use entire site versus use only this page. If you have a website that's all about the same sort of thing, let's say that you are a mortgage company and that's all you do. You might have multiple different pages on your website, tons of different pages, but they're all about mortgages. That might be a good area where you want to use the entire site for Google to come up with keyword suggestions for you, because they're all relevant to exactly what you're trying to do. For this example specifically, I'm trying to sell just Star Wars Lego sets, not all of the other themes that Lego has available. So what I want to do is I want to use only this page for Google to queue off of to make sure that they're going to be as relevant to Star Wars Lego as possible, as opposed to Marvel, Friends, City, all of those different areas. So let's go ahead and get started with just this web page to get some results. So that hops us into this results page, and this is where we're going to start actually seeing some of these individual themes that Google comes up with. Looking at this page, I just want to run through the functionality of it real quick. You can always change your location or your language just by clicking up here and selecting the pencil. You can also choose the network because Google will automatically default you to just Google, but if you want to include Google and search partners, you can do that pretty easily. And the last thing is going to impact how this chart populates. So right now it defaults to the last 12 months, and you can see the trends of the keywords that are in here for total usage versus mobile usage. This can be really powerful if you have certain keywords that have a lot of seasonality to them, and Lego is one of those, so I thought this would be a really good use case to show you how this visualization can be really useful. Let's look back at all available time ranges. For Lego, obviously each November and December things spike up as people are looking to buy some toys for the holidays. So the last thing I want to show is how we can make this chart have a little bit different data. So we can actually come over here to charts, and we can break the data down by platform, which will then show you the different devices people are using. So now we know that over half of the searches for Lego are coming through on mobile and only about a quarter on desktop. So that could be useful information. Lastly, you can also filter and see the data by location. And now since I have my targeting set up to United States, it's breaking down the data by each of the different states that are available. So we're seeing the top 5 volume-wise come through, and then we've got other states over here as well. But you can also break this down by different regions. So if you want to see it by DMA region, by county, city, you can do that as well and see the data in a little different way. Well, let's revert this back to the volume. But then down here, we can actually start to see the keyword ideas that Google has put together for us. Some of these are relevant how we wanted them to be, and others just aren't as powerful as we would like. So the first one starting off is Lego. That's not very specific. Lego Star Wars after that. Great. That was one of the common themes that we came up with. But then we've got Lego City, Lego Friends, getting back into Star Wars a little bit, Star Wars 7 down here at the bottom, Star Destroyer. Okay, so there are some that make sense, but not all of them are quite as relevant as we would like them to be. We can then start to see a number of different data points that we have available. So average monthly searches, pretty common sense, but if you want to see a little bit more broken out chart, you can just hover over the blue line chart that's there and it'll show you a bar chart of the same information. Then you can start to see the competition. So this is a more estimate based on Google data, and it'll either be dashes because it's empty because there's no competition, or it'll be high, medium, or low depending on how many other advertisers usually bid on these keywords. You can then see top and bottom range of CPC bids based on what Google thinks is available. So for these keywords, it says that it's anywhere from 60 to 70 cents around in that range. So with high competition, that seems a little bit far-fetched, so maybe take that with a grain of salt. But then at the beginning, you'll remember I told you to make sure that you have the right account selected, and there are a couple columns for why. So add impression share and account status. Account status will tell you if the keywords that Google is choosing for you here are already in your account, if they're already in your plan, or if they are a negative keyword in your plan. So that status will show up in this column, and it's really easy to help filter for what you do and don't want. And then add impression share will tell you the impression share you have if these keywords are already in your account. If you're already showing up for these, you'll be able to see the impression share that you're getting for them. So the next thing we can do is start to add a filter. So like I said, some of these keywords just aren't as specific as I want them to be. So let's come in here and look at the filters that we can use. So we can either filter on keyword text, any of the metrics that we have over here to the right, but some of the other things that are really helpful are being able to exclude keywords that are already in your account. If you're trying to find net new keywords, this is a great way to filter those out. So again, if the account status says in account, basically this will get rid of any of those. Same thing for in my plan. And then there's some other competitive and organic metrics that you can filter by as well. If you want to start filtering down your keywords for some more specific text or something like that, you can use these filters. So let's say I just want to filter the keywords to contain Star Wars in the text. So in here you can do regular filters, whether it's contains or does not contain. And then I'm just going to type in Star Wars. Then you'll notice this thing down here at the bottom, text match or semantic match. Text match basically means that it will actually match the text that you typed in. So that means it will look for Star Wars as I have it typed. Semantic match means that it's going to find synonyms and things that are deemed relevant by Google or similar. So this is where you might start to get a little bit broader outside of just using using Star Wars specifically as that phrase in here and start to use some of Google's machine learning to find intent behind the keywords. But for right now, I just want to use text matched. So now you can see with a quick filter, all of the keyword ideas that Google has suggested for me, but all of these now include Star Wars in them. And these are a lot more relevant just because the first set of keywords Google came up with weren't quite as relevant as you wanted them to be. Doesn't mean that there's not still valuable information here. You just might need to use a couple of filters to make sure that you're finding the good stuff in here. The last thing I want to look at on this site though is this refined keywords beta. Right now it has no results because we used a website to start off with. This functionality only works if you use keywords to start the search. Let's say that maybe I'm going through all of this and I'm just not finding the keywords that I want here, or maybe even using filters and just not popping up, or I want to use that refined keywords beta. If you want to change your research at any point, all you have to do is click up into this gray bar and it'll open you right back up into the editor that we started with on the home page. So it's still got all the settings that I saved here, except for that it triggered me back to lego.com, the entire site, as opposed to the page, even though I used the page to start with. But let's say we want to start with keywords instead. It retained the domain that I want to use as a filter, and I'm going to let it do that. But let's just start with a couple of different common sense keywords that we can use for Lego Star Wars sets. Okay, so we've got a couple of these added in here. Let's hit get results. Okay, so it also retained my filter. I'm going to go ahead and clear that just so we can get new themes coming through here. Okay, so you can see that this is set up a little bit differently now. Now there is a broaden your search section here, which includes additional keywords. These are effectively different suggestions that Google has for you. You can add Lego sets, Star Wars sets, whatever it is. If you want to add one of these keywords, all you have to do is click this plus button and it'll be added to the keyword planner that we have here. But I don't actually want to do that because it doesn't contain Lego and I don't think that's valuable enough. That just shows you what it would do. But now we can start to see there are a couple different ways this data is laid out down here. So all the columns are still the same, but you can tell that there are a couple different sections. So there's keywords you provided. These will always be pinned to the top just so they're easy to find. But then you've got keyword ideas down here, and these are all the net new suggestions that Google has put together. So a lot of these are a lot more relevant to what I would have wanted to get started with than what I came up with the page. This is a really good way to keep using this tool. But the other thing you'll notice is that this refined keywords beta has information in here now. And I'm going to scroll down so we can start to filter here. But effectively what this does, it allows you to change the keyword suggestions based on some of these predefined groups that Google has already put together. It's got things based on brand, the ship, not shipping, but the ship, Millennium Falcon versus Star Destroyer versus X-Wing, the characters, vehicle, all these different things. It's even got the planets segmented. So there's a lot of machine learning that Google is using to categorize these keywords in different ways, because if you don't know anything about Star Wars, you probably wouldn't know that Hoth, Naboo, Endor, all of these are planets within the Star Wars galaxy. So we can start to change what information is in this pretty quickly. So let's just open up ship just for fun. And you can see that there are a lot of different keywords and different ships that are broken apart here. So anything that has Millennium Falcon in it, there are 281 different keywords. There's a lot of different sections. You can also view more. But let's say for whatever reason, we just really don't want the Millennium Falcon type of keywords in here. So you just uncheck the box. Then you can see down here at the bottom that keywords related to the Millennium Falcon have been removed. And that was actually the top keyword that was in here, and it's no longer available. So this section over here is really cool to help filter different things within the keyword suggestions that Google puts together for you. And then you can easily add it back in and you'll see it popped right back up to the top. But there are lots of different things. Again, character, vehicle, all sorts of other things that are in here that you can easily start to filter and make sure that you're seeing only high quality relevant keywords in the suggestions. So now let's say we found a handful of these keywords and we want to start to get some more information about them, start to add them into a plan and start to look at the forecast performance for it. So let's just choose a couple of the keywords that we've got here. So I'm just going to choose Millennium Falcon and Lego Star Destroyer. So when you check the box next to it, you'll see that there is a blue bar that comes up here that tells you the number of keywords selected, and there are a few different drop downs that we have here. So the first thing you can do is choose to either add it to your plan or an existing campaign. So this is really cool. If you want to just add it to an existing campaign real quick, you click that, Google will pop up the campaign that you want, then you can choose the ad group. You get to choose your match type that you want them to be selected in. So if we wanted them to be added as phrase match, and then you just click add keywords and it will add them directly into that campaign, that ad group with that match type that quickly. So that's a really easy way to start building out your campaigns, your different keyword sets, if you already know exactly where you want them to go. But let's say for now, I just want to do this in a plan. I want to keep all of my research here before adding it to an account. I'm just going to click plan. And then the same way, we can start to build a campaign within the plan. So let's just say I want to create a new ad group. So I'm just going to say ships, click create. Now you can see that it took a little bit and now it's created a ships ad group. And then again, you can choose the match type that you want it to be. And then you can just click add keywords. So let's go ahead and do that. And now you can see down here that 2 keywords have been added to your plan. You can either click view forecast, dismiss it. View forecast is obviously a really quick way to have a shortcut to get there. But I want to point out that now we have this in plan status. So you can see that the account status has changed for these 2 keywords. So if you wanted to continue doing additional research, you can either just avoid adding these keywords, or you can go back and use the filter to exclude things in my plan. And now those keywords are out of the suggested list just to keep them separate from everything else that we've got. So now let's start to actually look at our plan that we have. So over here, you can see there's keyword ideas and there's this little line. And now all of these different things are around the plan. So let's hop into the overview. So now we can see the overview that we've got for this plan. It's giving kind of a little bit of a disclaimer. It tells you to use the last 7 to 10 days to make a forecast. And based on the keywords that we have in here, you can see the estimated stats that Google thinks that we'll get. So about 140 clicks, about $150 spent, all this stuff. And there are lots of different segments that we've got here. So you can see the keywords, the forecast itself, the device breakdown, and location breakdown, which is pretty cool. Different subsets within the United States. And there are lots of different options that you can have here, whether it's regions, DMAs, cities, whatever it will be. So there's lots of different things that you can have here. But let's say we want to take a look at the actual structure. So you can click into ad groups. And now we can see that we have the one ad group that is dedicated to ships. If we had a number of different ad groups, all of those would show up here. You can change the name, or you can change the max CPC bid by clicking the pencil. Let's just go ahead and do that and see what that looks like. So right now it was set at 3. Let's change it to 5. So we went from about $140 in spend and a little over 1,000 impressions. Now we've got a little over 3,000 impressions on $182 in spend. As you change your CPCs, basically your estimated CPCs, the forecast will change for the ad group sets that you have here, and you can see things at the ad group level. But you can also click into keywords and start to see things broken out by keyword. Again, we chose those 2 keywords to add in here. They're retaining the max CPC. But if you want to change the view a little bit, or maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe I'm willing to pay $57 for the Lego Star Destroyer, but paying $125 for the Millennium Falcon is too much. So now we can change this bid down to $4 and see what it looks like. And maybe that's just more tolerable. Each time you change it, you can see all of the different metrics that are available in here and start to get some forecast impression numbers for these keywords. One of the other things you'll notice is that you can add conversion metrics in here. So just click this blue section, and then you can add your own conversion rate, which I think is pretty cool. So depending on what the conversion rate is like on your site, you can add that in here. Let's just say, for sake of example, that we have a 5% conversion rate on our site, and click save. And now Google is actually estimating the number of conversions that we would get, because it's using the clicks and all of the other information to estimate about the number of conversions that we could expect from these keywords with the conversion rate that we added. Pretty cool. Really helps you start to understand the type of volume that you would have available here. And then if you want to, you can add additional keywords directly from this section. This would be the same sort of thing, just adding your keywords exactly like you normally would in a Google Ads campaign editor. But for right now, we'll just click out of that. The next thing I want to show you are the negative keywords. So let's hop in there. So here you can add any negative keywords that you would want in your campaigns, just in the same way you would in the interface or in Google Ads Editor. So if you're planning on creating a campaign here and launching it directly from Keyword Planner, this is where you might want to add some negative keywords. And then we can also look at historical metrics. So now we can see another view of the same type of thing that we saw in the Keyword Planner. So if you started off looking at forecasts and you already had keywords in mind, here is where you can start to look at the historical metrics of them, because maybe we didn't go through the net new keyword research process and we didn't see those initial charts that I showed you where Lego sold higher in November and December. But now you can see the specific trends for just your keywords in your plan for the historical metrics that we have available. The last thing that's over here on the left left, we'll go through this menu first, is locations. This is really helpful if you want to see data broken out by different locations. So I'm going to dismiss this so it goes away, gives us a little bit more room. But right now it's based on the targeted locations that I have. So remember, I chose United States. But if you choose this drop down, this is where you can start to see some of those different states, regions, whatever it is. So maybe we want to say just top states. We saw that pie chart at the very beginning on the plan overview, but here we can see all of this more granular data in a different way. We don't have to see it just to the United States. We can see everything from clicks, impressions, all the way to average CPC based on state. And if you want to then adjust your columns, you can open this up. And let's say you just wanted to get rid of some of these, you can do that. But these are the only columns that are available in this section. Right now, I've already got all of them selected, and that's going to be good enough. So now let's say we want to start putting this to use. We can hop over here and start to look at these different things over here on the right. So the first thing I want to look at are the 3 dots here. So you can edit the sharing of this plan. You'll remember on the home page that I showed you of the keyword planner, there's that shared plans section. If you want to edit the sharing, you can just click on the toggle here and you can give a shareable link so that somebody else can view the plan that you have already put together here. This is a really easy way if somebody has a different login and you want to share something with them for approval, something like that. All you have to do is send them this link and they can check it out really easily. The next thing we can do over here is copy the plan. So if we want to copy it and make an edit to it, maybe just have a slightly different variant, then you can do that. You can also remove it if you've decided you've done a terrible job and this is garbage and you don't want to use it. But hopefully you haven't done that. The next thing you can do is this download button. So you can download a few different things here. You can download your plan forecasts in a CSV or a Google Sheet, or you can download the historical metrics for your plan in a CSV or Google Sheet. Depending on what you're trying to use this data for, this is a really great way to get the information out of Google Keyword Planner and start manipulating it in your own way. But just be sure to pay attention that you are downloading either the forecast or the historical metrics. I personally have gotten caught in not realizing that I was downloading one or the other. It can be really frustrating. So just pay attention to which one you're looking at. The last thing I want to show you is if you're ready to just get this campaign created, if you've already gone ahead and set up everything in the keyword planner and you're ready to roll it out, all you have to do is click create campaign, add your campaign name, and the budget that you want to have available. You can then click save and Google will add it directly to your account so you can go in, make any of the different changes that you need to your campaign, add your ads in there, any tracking that you need, and you can effectively just launch it immediately because it's already in there and you're ready to go. As you can see, there's a ton that you can do with the Google Ads Keyword Planner. Hopefully this run through has helped you see some of the tools that you might not have used before, so you can get a little bit more leverage out of the Keyword Planner, whether it's getting keywords added directly to your account or putting together some forecasts to understand potential future performance. Thanks for watching our video. If you thought it was useful, give us a thumbs up below.
We release a new video at least once a week, so if you want to get notified of when a new one comes out, be sure to subscribe to the Paid Media Pros channel.